First of all, thank you so much to the Capital Link team for inviting us to co-host this seminar. I think it's the fourth time we're doing this together, and I believe it's a fantastic venue for people to meet and connect. So thank you everyone for participating here today. My name is Hjemdal. I'm a partner at Fearnley Securities, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you all to this session on doing business in Japan. So Japan remains one of the key maritime hubs, not only as a shipbuilding nation and a major chartering market, but also a cornerstone for maritime finance and long-term partnerships. For international ship owners, doing business in this market requires just not commercial understanding, but also culture insight, patience, and mutual respect. So to explore these themes, we're joined by three highly respected leaders in the global shipping community, each with extensive track record in the Japanese market, doing business with Japanese partners and institutions. So before we kick off the discussion, I'd like to hear from each and every one of you, if you can introduce yourselves and your respective companies, and maybe also touch briefly upon how Japan fits into your business today. So maybe we can start with you, John, and then, yeah.
Thank you, Martin. Minasan, konnichiwa. Very happy to be back in Tokyo for Capital Link. We have been here already fourth year in a row together with Nicola. So it's our great honor. And for those who don't know well about Erasmus Shipinvest Group, is the company that we set up back to 2010 with main office in Greece, in Athens, and then a few other offices around the world, including 2 offices in Japan. Imabari office about 10 years ago, and then also 2 years ago we opened in Tokyo. Japan is absolutely the most important market for Erasmus Group. At the moment, we are running around 60 to 70 ships, spreading from dry bulk, from handy-size to Cape-size, and some feeder container ships, MPP vessels, and LPG gas carriers, the small ones, the fully pressurized coaster type. And we still have 12 new buildings in 4 different Japanese yards at the moment, covering also smaller sized of vessels from container feeder, MPP, and LPG vessels as well. From Japan market, we have been doing in the last 15 years, especially from all new building, second-hand purchases, financing, chartering, almost all the functions commercially. So that's why we definitely treat Japan as the top core part of our whole group business. Thank you very much.
Carlos?
Good morning, everyone. As in CTM, like John, we believe in Japan being the main source of tonnage, the main source of partnership, the main source of friendship as well. We run a fleet of around 120 ships, specialized on dry bulk, from handy size until up to Newcastle Max. All of them are traded in the spot market, especially on our pools. We run probably the larger pool on the Panamax and the Supramax sector. We used to run also the Capes pool, but we sold a few ships a couple of years ago. We have been in Japan doing business from generations. I think actually the grandfather of the owner of CTM, John Michael Ratsfield, was one of the first Western owners to order a ship in Japan. We have, due to different ownership of this company, with the Italian base that we have back on the 90s with Clerici, after Dryler with Peter Livanos, and now with John Michael Ratsfield, we have been always here. It's a tradition of our company that let's say CEOs come with young guys and young trainees, people like we have one here, also educated and learn how to live the life with Japan, understand the mentality of the people, share values together, and for us it's really, really important, Japan, and our core business is based here.
Thank you. Ivar?
Yes, first of all, Thank you for your patience. Apologies. I had a meeting downtown, and my taxi driver took me to the Tokyo American Club in Nihonbashi. So I'm sorry. But now I'm here. So apologies for that. I represent Belships, a Norwegian shipping company with about 100 years of history, founded in 1918. The company has been doing business in Japan extensively since the mid-80s, first through a JV with Tsunaisi Shipyard and gradually ordering a number of ships from various shipyards. Today our company consists of a fleet about 40 Ultramax bulk carriers, almost all of them built in Japan. We have a large number of those vessels are on long-term contracts from Japanese head owners with purchase options to us. So definitely, just like the two other gentlemen here, Japan is our not only most important, but basically only sourcing for high-end bulk carriers. So our fleet of 39 vessels are the second largest, I believe, in numbers, and by far the youngest in the world, which means that our customer base will tend to be the larger charterers and operators, the grain houses consistently, and they are typically our largest customers today, taking about half of our fleet on short and medium-term charters. So the relationships that have been built for over many, many years in Japan is extremely important to the company because it's a backbone to the existence and the hopefully future growth of the company. And I can only echo my two colleagues here in saying that not only relationships but friendships and trust, mutual trust among partners is key to the way at least our company has been operating here in Japan. Thank you.
Very good. So thank you. I think this gives us a great starting point for the discussion. So let's jump into the questions. So Japan is often described, as you also say, as a relationship-driven market built on trust, reputation, and consistency. So this first question goes for you, Ivar. From your experience, what's been the most important factor or factors in establishing and maintaining successful partnership with the Japanese counterparties?
Well, the ability to be sufficiently flexible to understand the other party's key concerns and key needs in setting out, be it charter contracts or shipbuilding contracts. I would say always be a reliable and trustworthy counterpart. Speak your mind, but be polite always and considerate of what is key elements in the other party's concerns and their strategies. I think also we should list patience. It takes time to build up relationships. Just flying in on a Monday and think you can leave on a Thursday with a bag full of contracts doesn't work here, and it shouldn't, because we are handling quite highly capital-intensive assets, which require a long-term view, and you should use more than 15 minutes to decide on investing in something that lasts 25 to 30 years. So that's our thinking.
So Carlos, CTM has an extensive chartering portfolio that includes strong ties with Japanese companies, like you mentioned in your introduction. So can you please elaborate a bit more on what makes Japan an important market for your chartering activities, and how do you approach relationship building with Japanese owners, shipyards, financiers, and so on?
Well, as you said, we have 25 long-term charters from Supras, Panamax, and Capes. The key, I think, is what we have all mentioned, is trust, patience. A lot of face time. I think is good to dedicate time and could be even said to invest time with your partner, and to understand that when you go into these long-term deals, you go basically almost owning the ships. So you are in a partnership with the owners. It's not only that you are his charters, you own the vessel. And you have to realize that sometimes also difficulties come. It's not always roses and happiness, and it could be also on both sides. And in Japan, what you get is that acceptance or the owners look for solutions and trying to help when they can. Like in CTM, we also try to help when we can. I mean, I remember when market in 2007, 2008 was very good, and owners have ordered very cheap vessels. We were helping on dry docks, and we were contributing to the dry docks because the owners were having difficult times. So it works both ways, and it's important to have a very reliable face also through the process. One of the advantages that we have in CTM is we have people working in Japan for the last 25 years. We are coming 3-4 times or even more every year. So the faces are recognized. So that is very much important.
Yeah, thank you. Moving over to you, John. So you mentioned you established your Imabari office 10 years ago, and 2 years ago you also opened an office in Tokyo. And you've been working closely with Japanese partners across shipyards, owners, and also financial institutions. So what, in your view, is the key to building long-term and mutual beneficial relationships with Japanese companies?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. I think apart from the words that already been mentioned about friendship and trust, I think there's, in our dictionary, there is another important one is performance. Performance does matter a lot. In Japan especially, so because Japan shipping industry, to me personally, is very, very small community. Probably LinkedIn doesn't work well here because everyone is almost linked already. So in Japan, maritime industry. So I think from all the past history and experience that we have already been done in Japan so far, from new building, second-hand purchases, financing, chartering, everything, I think the performance really matters from our side, also mutually, because without performance, the credibility cannot be easily set up. And as Warren Buffett said, so you spend 20 years to build up a reputation, and then you can rule down in 5 minutes. And this, I think, exactly is happening and been proven in Japan. I think it's going to be the same. That's why we believe that in all our business, that we say that Japan is the highest demanding market for shipping industry, which is a very international global business. But Japan is a very special place that we really need all the time flawless performance to not only grow sometime, because sometime people grow, correct, but then next day, the next year, they cannot perform. Then we have seen so many cases in up and down of the markets already, right? So, but I think overall performance matters, and I think as said mutually, that's why we chose so far only Japan as the sole country where we built new building order ships only in Japan, not the second country as well. Because as said, mutually, not only the buyer who will perform, but the seller as well, depend on the market. Right? So again, to me personally, performance is, I think, is also the key to keep the sustainability to do business in Japan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. That's a very good point. And I think just to touch a bit upon what some of you mentioned with regards to FaceTime and presence in the Japanese market, I think, during COVID, it was not possible to travel here, but still a lot of business was concluded with Japanese counterparts. So have you seen, the importance of presence and traveling to Japan, has that changed since COVID, or is it still the same? And that's open. Maybe Carlos, you touched upon the relationship part and FaceTime importance.
I think you can do meetings on Teams or FaceTime, let's say, but I think it is much more valuable to have a personal conversation and direct dialogue with the Japanese people in general. It is remarkable how much value you can get of spending a couple of minutes having a coffee or having a beer with your counterparty, and going to I think also people appreciate taking the effort and going and visit the office. Many of the owners are in the islands, in Shikoku Island, and for us, our company is based in Monaco. It's a journey to come, and we do it with pleasure, actually, because they are also very welcoming people. So we have, as I said, an important component of Japan, if you really understand the mentality, is also to have fun with them.
Yeah.
And you can have it.
Absolutely. So completely agree. So so thank you all for the insight on the, call it the relationship part of this. So shifting topic a bit and being a bit more specific, ship financing, which is a market Fearnley Securities we are extremely involved in. This has attracted, call it overseas owner for a very long time, and it's well utilized by international owners. So this one is for you, Ivar. So financing alternatives in Japan have evolved in recent years. You have the banks, the ship owners, alternative financier becoming increasingly active and flexible. In your view, how have these developments influenced the way you and other international owners in general approach the Japanese markets?
I would say that the way we have done our business in recent years is to based on new building contracts done in Japan with a local owner, big or small, as the counterpart. Their financiers will require good comfort with sort of their customer, which will be us. Belships has been listed for 88 years, so we have a culture of transparency with the company, and we'll, even though the company now is private, we'll continue to share full financial details with our stakeholders and their financiers. I think we can say that we've seen a gradual increase in the ability and, of course, the willingness of not just the mega banks but also the larger regional banks to engage in direct or semi-direct business with international owners. Of course, I think for all of us to have long-term relations and a track record of performing with some key local businesses. In our case, the Imabari shipyard and the owner group, the Shipinvest, are clearly our most important counterpart. We have 26 vessels on the water built by Imabari, and majority of them is handled to Shoi ownership or novated through their network. So of course, building a track record over time, I think opens some doors for us to do direct or indirect tapping of the Japanese financing market. So not only call it sale-leaseback or JOLCO structure, but also direct financing with Japanese counterparts is becoming gradually more available and attractive. And being an ex-banker, I think banking is also a cyclical market, and Japan has now much of the same characteristics as the European market, i.e. there's quite a good availability of capital, which of course banks need to, that's their job, to deploy their capital in a useful and profitable manner. So the shipping industry, widely speaking, the maritime industry is of course one of the key industries in Japan and one of the most international industries in Japan. So it's maybe it sounds a bit upscale, but I think it's becoming also a gateway for Japanese financing into a more international network of potential customers. And with the we in Belships we had a naming ceremony in Imabari 2 days ago, and Yokito-san Igaki, he's also the owner of the yard. He's also the president of Japanese Shipbuilders Association, and talked about the discussions they're now having with the ministry to sort of largely increase the output of Japanese shipbuilding industry. Very, very ambitious growth from taking about 12-13% of global output now, increasing it up to 20%. Which will require massive efforts and financing, not just from the local community, but it also needs them to be even more international in the way they think, to attract new building orders and from all over the world. So I think for us and for most international owners, it's a very interesting time to be established in Japan, because I think many interesting things will evolve over the next few years. And having the kind of track record that I think all of us here on stage have in Japan gives us a, if not a head start, at least of a pole position in utilizing the opportunities that I think will become available, both for as ship owners and as potential customers of the Japanese financing community.
Just one quick follow-up question to that. So, you've been very active in the Japanese sale and leaseback market, and that's basically what you've been using that structure to grow your fleet quite extensively over the past couple of years. Do you see a shift in the capital sources you utilize from the Japanese market going forward? Will you continue to build your fleet through that scheme, or do you see your capital or the debt financing being more sourced from Japanese lenders directly?
Well, as the lease structures, they eventually come to an end, and we want to continue owning the vessels, and hopefully we can tap into the Japanese financing market to do the refinancings. Yep. That's a clear sort of goal for us, and by having these regular meetings and discussions with our potential and existing counterparts, you can show them there's long-term thinking behind it. There's a long-term future deal flow here. So hopefully we will be able to, as I said, tap into the opportunities that will present themselves.
Very good. So moving to you, John. So, and also Ivar touched upon, so Japanese financiers are often seen as conservative but very long-term oriented. So from your perspective, how flexible are they today when it comes to structuring deals with international owners? And do you see that mindset changing?
Thanks. I would say that traditionally, the older Japanese mega banks, of course, they are still pursuing the corporate accounts, large name lending instead of project-oriented. But as I also mentioned, there are so many small, medium-sized entities, let's say, doing sale-leaseback and or just pure senior debt leasing financing as well. So I think there is always different tiers of market financingly. I mean, talking about financing market in Japan to meet different requirements, I think. That's in general. But of course, there are some Japanese banks already been going abroad, opening overseas branches and clients relationship already in Singapore, in Europe. So I believe that certainly with the global trend going on, I believe that this is going to be, we will see more and more Japanese banks will be open for international owners. Yep. Rather than just doing local ones. But again, it depends. Some from our business network, there are certain Japanese banks that we have met locally that they cannot speak perfectly English, for example. Of course, they are more focusing on local customers' needs, and through their local customers doing the international business. So I think there's always a kind of bridge and channel that we can always reach out for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So moving over to a different topic, which is also extremely important for the Japanese shipping community, and that is the ship or the construction of vessels or shipyards. So Carlos, this goes for you. So your chartered-in vessels are predominantly built in at Japanese shipyards. What do you see as Japan's competitive edge today when it comes to vessel construction, and also looking ahead? Do you expect your fleet composition to remain heavily Japanese-built, or do you foresee a shift as other shipbuilding nations continue to improve?
Well, in CTM we have done close to 100 ships, I think, between long-term and own in the last 15 years. So I think what differentiates Japan by far is quality. I mean, here in Japan you bid good quality ships. It's simply as that. And I think it's something that you should stick on it, by the way, because quantity, there are other countries that can build more ships in terms of volume, but at the end, quality pays. And in CTM, on our DNA, we go for quality. And we believe that we will keep doing it. It's true that the Chinese yards or other yards are improving, and so there is a competition there for Japan, and you guys have to be quite clever, let's say, quite up to speed, and realize there is competition. But in Japan, the skills exist, the quality of people exists, so you should prevail. And for us, Japan is the natural source of tonnage. For us, Japan is where we want to grow. So I don't see us changing too much. Maybe a ship here and there, but definitely our core business is here.
Yeah, and same applies to you, Ivar. I think more than 80% of your fleet today is Japanese built. Do you see that ratio being the same going forward?
Actually, 90%.
90%, okay, sorry.
And I think that ratio will go up.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the plan. Okay. No, joking aside, I agree with Carlos here. The performance, the long-term performance of the vessels in terms of technical breakdowns, dry docking cost, daily OPEX, etc., is a key factor when you take these long-term views and the long-term decisions that all of us have to do when we charter in or buy a vessel. And at least from our limited experience, we clearly see that when vessels approach probably 10 years of age, maybe a little before, a little later, you see the operating performance between Chinese-built and Japanese-built being quite visible, actually. Dry docking costs becoming... there are more surprises of a negative kind, often, when you take a 10 or a 15-year-old Chinese ship into dry dock than what is the case with the Japanese-built. And that's the reason why you have two things that are pretty sticky in the market. First, the liquidity of selling second-hand Japanese vessels, much easier, and the price differentials over the Chinese vessels of the same age. So I agree with Carlos, it's quality and quality pays.
Very good. So moving over to shifting topic again, it's difficult to avoid the geopolitical situation globally and how this is shaping the broader business environment, especially in shipping. So maybe I can actually start with you, John. Looking at the broader geopolitical uncertainty and the reshaping of global trade, how do you see Japan's role changing in this environment? And can this uncertainty actually benefit Japan in the long run?
Yeah, thanks for this hot topic question nowadays. I think I would rather answer this than new energy things at the moment.
Very good.
Sorry. Certainly, Japan I think will benefit overall the geopolitical environment nowadays and going forward. I do believe that, especially as I said, quality is there, credibility is there for shipbuilding, financing, competitiveness also there. I do believe that people, of course, only at today's market is very difficult because all the shipyards are luckily and happily full up to 2029 now. So probably not many opportunities for owners to place order again in Japan. But it doesn't mean that the open slot available in the near future, the owner will definitely jump on still into Japan as top priority than the other countries, certainly. Overall, I believe that nowadays what I have seen is just probably a start of the geopolitical conflicts and the further escalation of things, probably. That's why we also from very beginning be careful about that, not to be a victim of the geopolitical conflicts. So we try to avoid whatever we can do. I think at the moment Japan is absolutely in a very neutral and very beneficial position than some other countries.
Yeah. Ivar, your view on this topic?
Well, this is, as John says, a hot topic. Shipping and more for some sectors than others. Shipping are right now potentially collateral damage in a situation that is essentially about something completely different. let's not forget what this essentially is all about. It's about, as John alluded to, it's about control over key elements in the global trade. And also, more domestically in the US, it's actually about increasing the government's revenue. The US is running a pretty consistent and high current deficit, which current administration is doing their best to take the spotlight away from. But the national debt is soaring. It's already at levels which were described as catastrophic if it had been Greece or Portugal which have had it, and it's going to increase further. So securing additional sources of revenue is important for the government. So right now this is a foggy situation, but when the fog lifts, there's a couple of things that I think will prevail over time, and that is import duties on key products which are sold primarily in the US and produced elsewhere. And that, from a shipping perspective, I think the cars is obvious, of course. It's a high-value cargo, so if you're slapping $100 of import fees on every car, it doesn't really matter for the end consumer. The other is sort of the consumer goods that are being produced here in Asia, both in Japan, China, Vietnam, etc., where I think it's inevitable that you will see some kind of import tariff. In shipping terms, that means we're talking about the PCTCs and the container lines. Right now, it's everything. It's gas, dry bulk, whatever. But the fact that China, from a shipping perspective, is much, much more important than the US and has a clear interest in sort of keeping this a little bit stable. I think the next few months, in worst case, a couple of years, will be a bit unpredictable. But I think the long-term trend is what we looked at now, and everybody should remember that sort of the source of the wealth that sort of the Western world and also Japan has experienced since World War II is basically free trade, and shipping is the backbone of free trade. So I mean, trade hindrances are not good for shipping, but it's even worse for the global and the particularly regional and domestic growth figures for countries that are most hit by this stuff. So if it goes on for too long, we will see, I think, US bordering on recession, which is not going to be good for anyone. So the fog will lift before then, I think.
Okay. So Carlos, also on the same topic, do you see the Japanese market as a kind of a safe haven in this geopolitical environment?
I will not say safe haven, but I say a land of opportunities. When we do a lot of trade on the spot markets. I know in Japan the business model is not like day to day, but how the markets change with few news about certain topics on geopolitics is amazing. I mean, the other day when the Chinese informed about their tax system, Cape's rate moved $3. That is $500,000 from one day to the other, and the day after they went down again. So it's really uncertain what is creating this one to the global market, and what Ivar said is right. I mean, we are the backbone, we are the origin of all these free trades, and shipping is directly affected, and it's difficult to really read what is going to happen tomorrow. So staying in Japan, which is quite neutral in that sense, building good ships and not being directly involved between the two major areas, I think it's safe. It's definitely safe, and we expect that probably we will continue like that.
Thank you for your reviews on this topic. So I think we're actually running towards the end of this panel. So I have one final question, and I would like to hear from each and every one of you on this. So basically looking forward, so where do you see the greatest opportunities for collaboration between Japanese stakeholders and Japanese ship owners for the next decade? We can start with John, and then Carlos, and then Ivar, and then round it off.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think, again, it's a big topic. As we have already mentioned, overlapped a bit. I think next 10 years, I think Japan will be, we see probably some large shipyards, large corporate will go further bigger. So we will not say that in each domain they will be really monopolizing. But on the other hand, the smaller newcomers, probably not that easy to emerge because of the environmental regulations, environment overall. The business situation globally is changing a lot already, and it's going to be bigger than before. Because nowadays, even we are doing a lot of super careful on selecting any business counterparties, because we try to avoid any kind of suspected sanction, whatever this kind of business bombs that we try not to step on. That's all the days we are trying to be more carefully to do. But Japan, again, as said, is relatively safe haven in that sense to international business-wise. So that's why from Erasmus Group, we will definitely stick to our position that we remain as a strong believer on Japan market in almost all aspects of new building, buying second-hand, chartering, and the financing as well. So definitely we try to do more business with Japan. That's certainly from our position, what would like to say. Thank you.
Carlos?
Well, I think Japan is slowly opening to the Western world in terms of partnerships. And for CTM, we have Belships, we have charter ships, but why not to partner now with the Japanese friends? I mean, I think it's a great opportunity where we can have some more financial and commercial relationship directly with Japanese partners. At the same time, I think we could see that in Japan we can help them as well from the Western point of view, that you can have a reliable counterparty or friend on the other line. So I think if you ask me what is going to be the next 10 years, probably we will keep coming here, we will keep chartering ships, we will keep buying ships, and the quality, as I said, will keep improving. The relationship will be developing even further. But I think as a goal, I would like to see CTM doing something together with Japan in terms of a JV or something like that.
Good. Ivar?
I very much echo that. The Belships started their journey in Japan with a JV with Tsunaisi Shipyard more than 40 years ago, which worked well and has been a very good building block to build further on. I think that for us as Westerners, it's important to acknowledge that the Japanese shipping community, particularly the owner side, is a big eco network where everybody speaks with each other and connected. And of course, Nissen, Captain Abe, Shoikisen, and Higaki, they are slightly different than the smaller ones with 1, 2, 3 ships. But they know and they respect each other. And to be able to talk to the full spectrum of these Japanese owners, I think is very important. And I think that we can offer something, maybe particularly to the smaller guys in the future, helping them to grow their business by being a partner which is, in a way, vetted and approved by the big guys. So it feels much safer for them to do business with people like us. And as I mentioned earlier, their financiers are becoming more and more comfortable with companies who has been there for a long time, so it's also easier for them to get attractive terms on their deals. So I think we can find a way to grow profitably together.
Very good. Okay, so 1 minute left. So any questions from the audience before we wrap things up? One question.
I have a question for Ivar, Carlos and John. The JV that you're talking about, would it be with Japanese ship owners or with shipyards or trading houses?
That's a good question.
Should I repeat the question, or maybe?
Yeah, maybe for the audience.
Well, the question I asked is the JVs that the panelists were referring to, would they be with Japanese ship owners, shipyards, or trading houses? I mean, I can understand how it would work with shipyards and trading houses. How could it work with ship owners?
Yeah, good question. At least for our model, it feels like we're in a JV already, because we do repeat deals with same owners. So it's not a legal JV, but financially it's pretty close. So we can do repeat deals. We can do deals where we have been recommended by previous owners, or we can exercise a purchase option on a modern ship and have a smaller owner ready to take it on against a long-term charter contract. So these are, although not JVs in the legal sense of the word, they are definitely long-term partnerships. And the trading houses have a role to play very often here in laying the foundation, making sure you talk to the right people, etc. So respect the local network and use it. That's our way forward, at least.
In our case, I will not exclude any of them. I mean, I think, as Ivar was saying, here everything is so connected. And an owner owns a yard, an owner has a partnership with a trading house, so it's everything interconnected. So I will not exclude one or the other. I think we can do something with any of them.
Pretty much the same.
Very good. Okay. Thank you. That's it.